Last week, the Supreme Court of India allowed an unmarried woman to terminate her pregnancy at 24 weeks. Now, this after the Delhi High Court, in fact, did not allow her to do so. To speak more about this and also especially the healthcare system in India, joining us exclusively on NDTV is Janvi Nilekani, who is a healthcare entrepreneur. So you did of course go on to talk about how women should have access to healthcare system, but that's not really the truth if you're really looking at the ground realities. How do you really intend to change that?
Great. So you were asking about Astika, right? The founding story. And as part of that, when I was pregnant in 2016, I was that time a PhD student in public policy at Harvard. And I was very taken aback by how abysmal the quality of maternal health in our country is from top to bottom. It's more commonly known about that India still has high infant and maternal mortality rates, but I was quite shocked at how bad the care was, even in the private sector, even in urban cities, even in Bangalore. So because the healthcare is poor from top to bottom, I founded Astika in 2019. Astika consists of Astika Foundation as well as a private sector birth center in Bangalore called Astika Midwifery Center, where we really are working on the vision that every woman in India should have access to high quality, safe and respectful maternity care and access to fundamental rights, including informed consent and bodily autonomy, which ties in so much to what you were just saying about the Supreme Court.
Yes, I'm coming to that. So what is the interpretation of this law with regard to Supreme Court, where it did talk about, yes, allowing this woman to terminate her pregnancy at 24 weeks? Do you think now with this, women, every woman for that matter, will they be able to reach out to good services, healthcare services? Does anything at all change on ground?
The access to abortion care may improve from this judgment because, and I certainly feel that, it makes so much sense that women should have the same access to healthcare regardless of their marital status. If women have an access to abortion to 24 weeks, it should not be hinged on whether they are married, divorced, unmarried. I'm happy to see this judgment come out. So while I do believe it may improve access to abortion and gynecological care, I don't know if it would make any difference to the quality of birthing care and maternity care, where women across India still have access to poor treatment. So in India, India faces extremes known as either too little, too late, where women have too little care, which is the more traditional, what people think of, and what is known in the public health world as too much, too soon, which is excessive rates of episiotomies, augmentations, inductions, and most of all cesarean sections, which are far, far higher in India than what public health guidelines accept. So even the most privileged women in our country don't have access to good healthcare. They have access to an over-interventionist approach, which is not optimum for their health or their child.
Do you ever know that the healthcare system is abysmal before your birthing experience? Did you ever try?
Of course, I knew that a lot of people don't have access to care, and there's a challenge of inadequate care in rural areas and so on. But I must say, I did not realize the healthcare in Bangalore was this bad for the English-speaking wealthy urban elite. I did not expect it to be that bad for that socioeconomic group, but it is very, very bad.
Would you be able to?
Oh yeah, sure. So one is extremely high C-section rates. So take Telangana. In NHFS 5, Telangana as a state has a C-section rate of 62% statewide across public, private, rural, urban. It's even higher in urban cities, when the guidelines suggest somewhere between 10, I can argue 19, maybe 25, we don't know, but it's not 62%. In West Bengal, Telangana and Jammu and Kashmir in the private sector, C-section rates statewide are about 80%. That means that out of every 10 women, 2 are having a necessary C-section, 2 are having a vaginal delivery, and 6 are having an unnecessary C-section in these states, in the private hospitals. Even in Bangalore, 70, 80, 90% C-section rates are considered common. And that means a lot of women are going through unnecessary surgeries, having difficult recoveries. Their child is potentially struggling. There are side effects on mother and baby. A cesarean is a life-saving urgent, operation, which I wholeheartedly support. We definitely believe in obstetric care. But using major abdominal surgeries indiscriminately, left, right, and center, without even taking any consent, or this is the consequences for your health, your child's health, and your next pregnancy and your next child's health, is something I find very disturbing.
What about the women in rural areas? Don't see healthcare, a proper healthcare system reach out to them, right?
We work across rural, urban, all over the place. So some 60% of births in India happen in the top 3,500 largest hospitals, which are district hospitals. So even if women live in full rural villages, many of them are going to the local district hospital, a big bustling hospital for delivery. Some of them have very, very high C-section rates for rural women as well.
Rural women as well.
You'd be surprised. In fact, Karnataka, if you look at the numbers, Bangalore urban's cesarean rates are below statewide Karnataka numbers. The challenge India is now facing is poor quality of care for women who have come to the hospitals. So most programs now, be it in the government or the private sector or done by NGOs or whoever, are focused on improving the quality of care.
What really needs to change on ground in terms of, abortion? What are the kind of groundwork that needs to be done, especially if women itself now cannot really get access to good health care itself? What about abortion then? What should be done on ground for unmarried women?
The stigma won't change for unmarried women. Not right away, not overnight, but certainly I think there has been a cultural shift already. The judgments like these will continue to have it, and I really feel good that women will have the same access to rights regardless of marital status.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on NDTV. With that, we understand Astrika looks forward to not just offer healthcare services, especially to the urban, but also the urban poor as well, the poorer sections as well. Now, with camera person Kumar, Shrija for NDTV.